The BRX1 straight pull rifle is a lovely piece of engineering. Solid, quick, innovative, and with a propensity for superb accuracy. There's a long list of clever design details in this Beretta that build on each other to create an efficient rifle that works extremely well. If you're a bit of a gearhead like me, the thoroughness of its engineering is going to be impressive to you. Just some of the really cool things about the BRX1 are the fact that you can change calibers in about 5 minutes, that you can swap it from left-handed to right-handed in about 1 minute. It's got a 5-round flush magazine, even with Magnum rounds, and it's got this beautiful thumb-operated 3-position safety, and all the advantages that come with the genuine modularity of its design. I'll expand on all of these points in a moment, but let's first look at the essential design and how it works. I really like this bit. The Beretta's straight pull bolt action design provides fast cycling first and foremost. The whole concept is based on an aluminium chassis incorporating the action bedding, the magazine, the bolt rails, mounts for the 2-piece stock, and a separate trigger that sits inside it. The bedding area up front is solid, with a large recoil lug in the middle. 2 action screws are held captive in it, and they pull the receiver and barrel assembly tightly into angled sidewalls that really centre and secure the receiver in a way that virtually guarantees accuracy. This is one of the few straight pulls with a rotating bolt head, which means it needs only a cam to turn the head and lock its lugs into battery to achieve really solid lockup. It doesn't rely on an extra movement of the bolt handle to activate an expanding locking mechanism like in many other straight pulls. The bolt head for this Magnum caliber BRX1 has 16 lugs arranged in 2 rows around its full 360 degrees. Standard calibers lack the rear row, so they have 8 lugs. The extractor claw is set into the recessed face, so there's no interruption in the steel ring around the cartridge case. The total contact area of the 16 lugs in the Magnum adds up to 136 square millimetres. It appears to be very strong and safe. The BRX1's receiver is far removed from the traditional design. It consists of only the front receiver ring, which is 69 millimetres long. The barrel's inserted into it, and the head of the bolt goes into the other part of it, where they lock up together. The head rides in a huge carrier, 18 centimetres long and 3.5 centimetres wide, and it's got a steel inner assembly wrapped up in a matte black plastic outer. It slides on rails on top of the chassis, much like the rails in a semi-auto pistol slide. The trigger assembly sits underneath inside the chassis with a hammer inside it. When you pull the bolt back, it rides over the hammer to cock the action. Slam the bolt forward again and it strips around smoothly from the magazine, even with the belted 300 Win Mag. On the way, a spring-loaded recoil lever gives the bolt an extra push forward as it goes into battery, and you can really feel that effect. The safety is similar in operation to the decocking systems on, say, a Blaser R8, in that you slide the large button up and down on the back of the bolt, but it's not a decocker. When it's engaged, it hooks directly into a notch on the hammer, holding it down and disengaging it from contact with the trigger. It's a 3-position safety, and in the rearmost spot it also blocks the bolt from opening. Thumb it forward a few millimetres until a white bar appears, and you can open the bolt with the safety engaged. Push it all the way forward and the hammer is released to sit against the trigger sear again, and a red fire indicator appears. Now, if you hold the trigger back when you release the safety on a cocked rifle, the hammer will fall. Doing such a thing obviously goes against all the instincts of safe firearm handling, but it is possible, so there you go. If you want to change calibers, undoing the 2 action screws releases the barrel, so you can attach another one, and caliber kits consisting of a barrel, a bolt head and a magazine are available. The bolt head comes out just by pressing down on the spring-loaded guide tooth projecting from the carrier's cam slot. As for the magazine, dropping it is simply a matter of grasping the release tabs on either side of the body and out it comes. Very easy. The magazine's great. It's all polymer except for the spring, and I know some people don't like plastic, but it's pretty good. And it has this secure yet quick to use release. It's a top-loading, double-stacking design that takes 5 rounds, even if they're Magnums, yet still fits flush with the stock. You'll never ever lose it with that bright orange body. As for being ambidextrous, the BRX1's bolt head can be put in reversed, so the ejector flings cases out either left or right depending on what you choose. The bolt handle is held in by a sprung pin, so it comes out in a second before you slot it back in from the other side. The whole process takes about a minute. You won't lose your zero when switching barrels or changing handedness because the scope mounts onto a rail that's fixed to the receiver and there's no need to remove the scope at all. The Beretta's modularity means you can have a synthetic stock for those wintry, damaging hunts in the high country, as well as a pretty timber one when the aesthetics are more important. The butt and forend each attached with a single bolt to the chassis, and the very rigid forend leaves the barrel free floating for maximum accuracy. The stock has coarse stippling on the grip surfaces and nice grip enhancing profiles throughout, along with perfect symmetry for ambidextrous use. The pistol grip has a slight palm swell on each side and a medium profile curve that I actually found really natural when the rifle was shouldered. The test rifle came with a 12.5mm thick spacer fitted to produce a total length of pull of 37 centimetres. It's a nice slim sporter stock with no awkwardness, no surprises, and it should fit all but the smallest shooters. Even firing the 300 Win Mag was no great chore, partly because of the decent recoil pad and especially because the butt's comb is angled quite steeply upwards towards the rear with 13mm of rise from the toe to the heel. So the recoil makes it fall away from your face and this substantially reduces felt recoil. This meant that shooting groups on the bench for accuracy testing wasn't nearly as punishing an experience as it can be on lesser rifles in 300 Win Mag. In the field it was no problem at all the better to take advantage of the BRX1's quick cycling so you can get back on target rapidly for a fast follow-up shot. On the bench, the BRX1 achieved fantastic accuracy with some factory loads, but it wasn't so good with others, as the table shows. I think you'll have no trouble with it, especially with hand loads. You can find a good load for it without too much trouble. I didn't do thorough testing of 5-round groups, but the ones I did shoot never opened up very much at all, despite the slim sporter profile of the barrel, which tapers to just 16mm at the end. The Magnum has a full 62cm or 24-inch barrel, so you get good efficiency out of it. The stock's ergonomics help you shoot well with the BRX1, and its good trigger only adds to the effect. Let-off is quick and crisp, and if lock time is slower because of the hammer-fired design, you wouldn't know it. I had the trigger weight set on the lightest of the 3 preset weights, which measured about 1100 grams on this rifle. Beretta claims a range of 950 to 1500 grams, so this seemed close enough. And in fact, it never varied more than 50 grams either way, and usually way less, so I rate this trigger really highly. To adjust the trigger, you have to drop it out, but that's easy. Remove the magazine and bolt, and while holding down the safety lever inside the trigger assembly, use a screwdriver or similar to lever up a small tab, then slide the assembly forward and out. Adjustments achieved by moving the tab on the left side to one of the 3 positions. Now at 3.3 kilograms bare and somewhere around 4.5 kilograms scoped up and loaded, the Beretta is just a bit heavier than the average sporter, but certainly not heavy, and it's no burden for most hunters to carry unless you're climbing the mountains. The mass is centred under the front end of the full magazine, and it provides a really good balance both when you're shooting it and when you're carrying it at the trail. Now bring together this steady handling, the fast straight pull cycling, the butte trigger and good ergonomics, and this is definitely a very cooperative rifle. I haven't mentioned another little bit of sensible design either. The bolt handle is immediately above the trigger, requiring absolute minimal hand movement from switching from trigger to bolt and back again. Even with the 300 Win Mag giving you a bigger jolt than most of the calibers that the Beretta is chambered for, it's easy to run through several accurate shots at targets that might scatter after the first shot. Alternatively, you can reset really quickly for a just-in-case follow-up shot to ensure that huge sandbar stag is properly anchored or the scrub ball isn't going to have a chance to turn and charge. Beretta is expanding the many modular options for the BRX1. There are 10-round magazines, stocks in all kinds of finishes as well as grades 2 and 3 timber. There's long barrels, short barrels, varmint barrels, iron sights and other stuff still in the pipeline, including additional calibers. This is the second time I've worked with the BRX1 and I'm equally enamoured with it. Apart from all the good things about its design and construction, there's the fact that it costs way less than Blaser R8s and Merkel Helixes, while at the same time it provides that same precise accuracy. It's way more accurate too than the current selection of button release and pump action rifles that'll give it a run for its money on the Aussie market. Have a close look at one yourself, and I'm sure that if you think you'd like to take it home, you will not be disappointed when you do.